Does the thought of Halloween fill you with dread instead of delight? For most people, this time of year is all about costumes and candy and parties and all of that. But for empaths, it can feel more like an energetic assault. The veil is thin right now and emotions are heightened. And not every spirit that's wandering around on October 31st is friendly. So today we're going to talk about how to protect your energy as an empath during Halloween and how to transform spooky chaos into sacred alignment. Welcome back, all you wonderful weirdos. I am Tara, your cosmic coach. And in this space, we explore spirituality, energy, and awakening from a grounded and mystical perspective. So if you're new here, hi. I'm so glad that your intuition led you here. Be sure to hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss any guidance on navigating your awakening with ease and humor and a little bit of magic. So let's start with the obvious question. Why does Halloween feel so heavy or unsettling for sensitive souls? Well, for one, the veil is at its thinnest. Energetically, Halloween, or as it was previously known, Samhain, marks the midpoint between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. Ancient Celts actually believed that this was when the veil between worlds, the physical and the spiritual, really was at its thinnest. So, ancestors, spirits, unseen energies of all sorts could cross over and mingle with the living. As an empath, you're naturally tuned into these unseen vibrations. So when the veil thins like this, you're not just sensing your own emotions, you may also be picking up on collective fears, grief, or even excitement from both the living and the other side.
Luna's weird word of the week is empath. An empath is not just someone who feels too much. You are a finely tuned instrument of divine awareness. Your sensitivity is your superpower. And when you protect your energy, ground your light, and stay true to your frequency, you become unstoppable.
Number two is collective fear frequency. Halloween's cultural vibe has shifted over the centuries. What began as a sacred festival of remembrance slowly morphed into one of fear and commercial frenzy. From horror movies to violent imagery, society really spends basically the entire month of October glorifying fear, right? And as empaths, we absorb that like sponges. So if you've ever wondered why you feel off or tired or anxious or overstimulated around Halloween, it's not all in your head, as I was once told. It's actually in your energetic field. So let's quickly explore the origins of Samhain. We'll travel back for a moment because to understand how to reclaim your power as an empath during Halloween, it really helps to remember what this day used to mean. So it does have Celtic roots. Over 2,000 years ago, in what's now Ireland, Scotland, parts of France, the Celts celebrated Samhain, their New Year's Eve. It was the end of harvest season, a time to honor the ancestors and to prepare for the dark half of the year. Fires were lit on hilltops to guide spirits home. Families set places at the table for departed ones. So when the church spread through all the Celtic regions, they really attempted to reframe Samhain. They they made November 1st All Saints Day, and then also known as All Hallows, and then the night before, which was October 31st, was renamed to All Hallows Eve, which of course has now evolved into Halloween. The deeper esoteric meaning, honoring death as part of one's life cycle, got buried beneath costumes, candies, and fear. In occult traditions, Samhain represents the death of the Sun King, the descent of light into darkness. It's really a symbolic time for shadow work, ancestral healing, and letting go of old identities. In some pagan paths, it's also the witch's new year. This is when the high priestess within each of us, regardless of gender, turns inward to receive divine wisdom for the next part of the cycle. So I'd like to share a quick story, if I may. Um, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and so I never celebrated Halloween. It was always separate for me, which in that respect was a good thing. As an empath, I was really separated from a lot of the fear-based, heavy, not so of the light energies. But when I became an adult, I went out on my own. And I remember the very first Halloween party that I went to in my early 20s. There was so much drinking. And when I walked into this space, it felt so heavy. And it really just triggered my fight or flight reflex. And I got out of there as soon as I could. I didn't have the language like empath to understand what was going on with me. It was decades before I had my awakening. So I didn't have the words to explain how I was feeling, how I was affected by going into that space. And my friends looked at me like I was crazy, which they've been doing for a long time. So that's nothing new. But I just remember how awful I felt in that space. And then everyone looked at me like I was crazy. And it just really signaled to me that I'm I'm in the world, but not of the world, if that makes sense. And so that really was a whole, maybe actually was the start of an awakening of sorts, where it started me down a spiritual path. Once I understood what was really happening energetically, everything shifted for me. I realized Halloween didn't have to be scary, and it could actually be a sacred portal for release and empowerment. So I hope that you can kind of reframe it in that way, just so you can make it through. I'm also going to give you some ways to actually protect your energy during this time, because the goal is not to hide from it, my love. It is actually to transmute it, right? This is the beauty of energetic alchemy. And we're going to start with grounding and aura cleansing. So I would invite you to start your day with a grounding ritual, something like walking barefoot out in nature, holding a smoky quartz, or visualizing roots connecting you deep into the earth. Then you're going to cleanse your aura with sage, incense, or sound. And I want you to think of it as putting on your spiritual armor, right? In my last video, I talked about putting on a jacket and zipping it up to protect yourself. It's similar to that. If you haven't watched that video, go watch it now, or finish this video and then go watch that. One of my favorite ancient Samhain practices is candle scrying. What you do is you light a candle, you gaze into the flame, and set the intention to connect only with your higher self and your loving ancestors. Mirrors were once believed to be portals between realms, so keep them covered during Halloween if you're feeling sensitive, or use one intentionally for divination. The third thing you can do is decorate your home with protective herbs like rosemary, bay leaves, and mugwort. You can hang a wreath with cinnamon sticks or cloves. I love cinnamon. So that's probably my favorite. Both cinnamon and clove will help to ward off any negative energies. You can even carry a small piece of obsidian or black tourmaline in your pocket whenever you go outside. They help protect your energy as well. I also want you to remember that costumes are energy too. So when you dress as a character, you are temporarily aligning with that archetype. So make sure you're choosing costumes that empower rather than frighten. And think like goddess or warrior or fairy or priestess, right? Not murder house zombie or something, right? You're still embodying energy through play. So keep that in mind when you're picking out your costumes. If you have kids, it's really important that you teach them that Halloween can be fun and sacred. So encourage them to choose costumes that also align with the frequency that you want to have in your home and around you. You can also have them light a candle for your ancestors before going trick or treating. That's a really beautiful way to connect in. Or even just taking a few deep breaths before entering crowded spaces. That way, you're not taking away the fun, but you are making it an intentional moment. When you understand the true roots of Halloween and honor your sensitivity instead of fighting it, the day really becomes more of a powerful energetic reset. This is a time to release whatever is dying in your life, old stories, fears, relationships, habits, and making peace with the unknown. It's the same way that the Celts celebrated endings as sacred. You can use this time to prepare for your next spiritual cycle. In my next video, I am going to talk about the energies that November will bring in and some key themes. And so it definitely ties into that. If you are not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified once I post that video. So rather than feeling drained, you walk through Halloween feeling empowered. You are the witch, you are the healer, the empath, the guardian of light, fully aware that darkness is not evil. It's just the soil where the transformation can begin. So tell me in the comments, how do you experience Halloween? What do you do? Do you love it? Do you avoid it? Do you have your own rituals of protection or connecting with your ancestors that you'd like to share? Make sure you leave those in the comments. I'd love to hear what's working for you. And if you have any takeaways from this video that really resonated with you, I'd love to hear that as well. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with another empath who might need to hear this message. And if you're ready to go deeper into your awakening journey, healing, or empath empowerment, you'll find a few free guides down in the description and a link to work with me. So until next time, my lovely weirdos, stay grounded, stay glowing, and remember that the magic you feel is not outside of you. It's been within you all along. All right. Happy Samhain, my loves. Blessed be.